The great Australian dream of seeking to own a home or start a business is fading for many. Inflation, interest rates, rising taxes are making opportunities seem like a foreign concept. Stubborn inflation has seen interest rates go up 12 times and down just once under Labor. Indeed, a typical family with a mortgage has paid out $50,000 they weren't expecting to pay just 3 years ago, turning a dream into a nightmare. Small businesses are closing at record levels with 29,000 insolvencies under Labor, again, a record. The real incomes of small business owners have collapsed by over 18% over the same time period. Personal income taxes have increased by 24% under Labor. The average taxpayer paid $3,500 more in tax this year alone, or $7,000 more for a dual income household. Inflation does that. Inflation does that. It raids household budgets to fund the government budget. For a family that is $50,000 worse off and paying thousands more in tax, Labor's 70 cents a day election bribe starting in 15 months' time does nothing to stop the ongoing impost of collapsing incomes and rising costs. Labor's own budget papers reveal the cruel hoax of 70 cents a day, showing that just after a year, tax per person will be higher than when that came into effect. It is an insult to Australians. And the budget, meanwhile, is deteriorating before our eyes. Despite an inflation-fuelled tax windfall, commodity surpluses look as fleeting as rate relief. The budget was silent on restoring budget discipline for the three fiscal challenges facing our economy. How we provision for budget repair to take the heat off inflation, prepare for future shocks, provide for essential services, and avoid leaving a massive liability to our children and grandchildren. How we provision for the defence of our nation in the most uncertain time since the Second World War, and how we address the impact of rising taxes for businesses and households driven by inflation. These are three vital, if competing, challenges that require a strategic, balanced and long-term approach to secure our nation's prosperity. Instead, Labor has delivered an incoherent fiscal strategy that talks about economic responsibility while growing debt, increasing taxes and driving up structural spending. The contrast is clear when you compare today's budget with what Labor inherited. Over the next 4 years, debt will reach $1.2 trillion, almost $125,000 for every household. Taxes will be $532 billion higher, $51,000 higher for every household, and Labor will spend an extra $425 billion, that's $41,000 for every household. This spending splurge comes with a generational cost. Over $170 billion of deficits that can only be paid for with higher inflation, higher taxes, higher debt, or some combination of all three. And indeed, Labor is offering all three. Not only is this situation unprecedented and unparalleled, it's not what Australians experienced under the coalition government. Core inflation has averaged 4.1% under Labor versus 2.2% under the previous coalition government. Interest rates 3.6% versus 1.3% under the coalition government. Underlying electricity prices are 32% higher, gas prices 34% higher. The Treasurer likes to argue that his failures are someone else's fault. But the variable in this equation isn't global factors, it's bad Labor government. A government that spent when homegrown inflationary pressures were high, a government obsessed over the soft landing, ignoring what it meant in terms of a long squeeze for the family budget, a Treasurer whose priority was remaking capitalism rather than restoring living standards.